used to think I was broken. Every night I'd make this perfect plan. Wake up at 6, go to the gym, journal, start deep work by 8. And every morning I'd hit snooze, lie there hating myself, and tell myself tomorrow would be different. I did that for years. Then I noticed something weird. My friend who runs marathons doesn't seem to fight herself every morning. She just runs. And I used to think, man, she must have way more willpower than me. But she doesn't. That's not what's happening at all. Here's what I eventually realized. Discipline isn't always about fighting yourself harder. A huge part of it is what your brain has learned to expect when you do something. If every time you've sat down to work, it ended with stress, self-criticism, feeling behind, or wondering why you weren't doing more, your brain can start associating that situation with something unpleasant. That chair, that laptop, that workout, they can start feeling like the beginning of another battle. It's not necessarily that you're lazy. Your brain may simply have learned a pattern.
And here's the weird part. The habit that helped me wasn't really about learning how to start. It was about learning how to finish. The first mistake I was making was only rewarding the outcome. Finish the workout, then maybe I could feel good. Finish the entire project, then I could relax. Read the whole chapter, then I'd consider it productive. But the actual effort, sitting down, opening the laptop, doing the first few minutes, never got paired with anything positive. So I was constantly asking my brain to endure something unpleasant for a reward that existed somewhere in the future. The second mistake was even more important. I kept ending my sessions badly. I'd miss the last rep, get stuck on the hardest part of a project, leave a chapter unfinished, or close my laptop feeling like I'd accomplished nothing. And our memories of experiences aren't perfectly neutral. Emotionally intense moments and endings can disproportionately shape how we remember an experience. So if I repeatedly ended my work sessions feeling defeated, it made sense that I wouldn't exactly look forward to starting again. And that's where I made one tiny change. I stopped ending on the hardest part. Instead, I started deliberately ending on something easy. One clean sentence, one finished set, one small task checked off. Even if I technically had more energy left, I'd sometimes stop while things still felt manageable. It sounds almost stupidly simple, but it changed the association. I wasn't teaching my...
Every time I sit down to work, I suffer until I can't take it anymore. I was teaching myself, I sit down, I make progress, and this ends okay. And honestly, the work didn't suddenly become easy. I still don't want to get out of bed some mornings. I still procrastinate sometimes. But the exhausting argument in my head became quieter. I didn't have to negotiate with myself for 20 minutes before starting. And that, for me, was the real win. So try this today. Pick one thing you've been avoiding. Do the smallest possible version of it. And don't wait until you're completely exhausted to stop. Finish with something easy. Give yourself a clean ending instead of pushing until you hate the task. Then tomorrow, notice how you feel when it's time to start again. Maybe you don't need more willpower. Maybe you just need to stop teaching your brain that starting means suffering.